Well, good morning, friends. Today's going to be a good day. We passed that frost that was supposed to come through. We did get it. Got down to 28, 27, depending on what you were looking at, but we made it through, so I'm excited about that. Got a lot to go on in the garden. I removed all the buckets, all the blankets, and the roofs were full of frost. I was so worried, but we made it through. Anyways, I'm going to walk you through some of the projects we're going to do today, and there's a lot. I did go down to the nursery. I made some purchases over the last couple days. It's been about 15 days that I've been collecting, and then when I seen that frost, I was like, I'll just hold off, but I want to keep collecting them so that when I get my day off, I don't like to just run out and have to do stuff. I like to just spend most of it in the garden. That being said, I'll take you to some of the projects today, show you what we have, and let's just get started. I am so excited about today. Weathers are supposed to stay in the 60s for the next couple weeks. Nights are in the 40s, mid 40s, high 40s, and we're got potential chance for like 5 or 6 days of rain. So fingers crossed that happens. This garden will explode here in a little bit. But yeah, we're at the latter part of April and it went by fast. I can remember starting these videos when I came back and we were doing yard cleanup and getting the sidewalks put in. But now we're getting to plant. So that being said, let's share with you what we have to put in the ground today and where we're going to be putting them, and a few other projects. I got Grandma's bench that was gifted to us, and we're gonna spruce it up. So we'll see if this will stick this time. I've done a lot with it, but let's see if we can get it to stick this day around, and let's get started. So here's my collection that I've been collecting over the last couple weeks. I've got some Coleus, I've got some ferns in here, I've got some daisies that I'm going to replace, a couple that didn't come up this year, back on the back fence. I've got a ton of different hostas, I've got some ajuga, yeah, I've got some pretty Coleus, I probably mentioned that, but look how gorgeous that is. That I just absolutely love all the different ways life comes at us, and the fact that these people put in all the time and effort to create such beautiful pieces that we can bring home to our garden. I thank them. I don't know them, but I thank them, because it sure is beautiful to be able to mix and match back here in this garden. So that being said, let's head over here. I've got a mess of things we're gonna do today. Hope this video turns out really well for you folks, because I am super excited to bring it to you. So in this area right here, if you can recall, I just in one of my other videos I fixed this up. My son has some a rack right there that he went, they call it shed hunting, and so he went and looked for sheds in the out in open fields, and he brought that home and asked if I put it in the garden. So that's been there for a while. So that's sticking out. That belonged to a deer at one point. Moving right along, but we're going to fill in this garden right here. This bed's probably going to be a ton of Coleus, probably the ones that I just put on, but we'll go through and we'll make our selection right. I might end up lining it out with some begonias here. I really think, or maybe some sun patience. We'll see. I don't have either of the begonias or the sun patience, but we'll make way for it. Moving right along over here. If you can recall, this used to be the red bricks that I pulled from here. I didn't want them to set that red brick in there. I kind of wanted that to look like you have to take an off chance beat at a path that you wasn't expecting to take, and I really wanted to keep some of that stone rather in here, because it used to be right there where Marley's standing. You can see there's some stones that are double stacked here. One of the videos that I brought you on cleanup, I threw out my back, and so my son was putting some stone in there. I wasn't able to pick out the stone the way I thought I was from up on the porch, so we will move those stones out. Those bottom ones will get put back here along the fence, and let's see, then I'll backfill with some soil up to the top of the rocks. That way you know, you don't trip and fall or twist an ankle. Plus I got some ground covers that I'm going to go in through here, and that will really help all the hostas and heuchera that are in here really pop. So I will tell you, however, I don't know if I'll be able to get over here, and it's not because I don't have the idea, it's just I don't have the plants right now for that spot. I'm still trying to see how it turns out. So I can't really put sun-loving perennials in there. I do have some crocosmia right here that does okay, and then it starts to kind of decline the more the trees leaf out and the longer the summer goes. And then right behind there I've got black-eyed Susans. They performed okay. I need to hold off a little bit and see what I want to put in there. But that project's coming, so I've got to research and find out what I would like to put in there, because it's not a whole ton of sun, but it's not a whole ton of shade. So I've got to find a happy medium. And I have a ton of hosta and stuff like that I kind of want to keep the hostas going good in other parts of the garden, but I'm not sure I want to add for right there. On my last video, one of my videos, I popped out these railroad ties from in front of the moon gate, and I still have to come up with something from there. But this spot right here, hey Marley, this spot right here is where I'm going to add a bunch of the different colors. You can see I've got some ferns in here, and I've got some heuchera. That heuchera can't hardly see it. I can see it from here. It might not show up in the video as well, but you can see them spotted through here. And I really want to highlight those. I don't want to take them out, but I think once I start putting in the hostas with that, you know, chartreuse colors, the greens, it will hopefully pop. I've got some rocks that I need to figure out what I want to do with. This one came from Colorado last year when from my buddy. Him and his wife gifted that to us. I believe that one as well, and perhaps that one, but I really like that one there. But I think with the heucheras right here and that rock, I think it might be a little bit too dark, but we'll see. Like I said, with the hosta, some Solomon seal and whatnot I'm going to add in here. We'll see how it goes. Marley, you're in the bed. Huh? You find a little critter in there? You're in the bed. What are you doing? Anyways, she's probably looking for a rock. The azaleas are starting to get close to popping off. Those are fun. But I really think I'm going to bring some ajuga and highlight in these spots right here. You can see my walking path, my stones. Once I get this cleaned up from the birds, the robins are coming through here and looking for something to eat, so they toss it off. But once I get this cleaned up, I think I'm going to plant a bunch of ajuga in here. That way it can kind of highlight this area. Also kind of shade a bunch of the roots in here from the azaleas and whatnot. So what else? Oh yeah, we're gonna put in some, let's see here. We're gonna put in those Shasta daisies back here where they not come back. Let's see. Yeah, that being said, let's get started. And if any other projects pop up, like I said before, I shoot from the hip. I don't have a real idea of what I'm doing until I make it through the garden, and one thing leads to another, and we end up doing something fun. So if that happens, I'll share it with you. And I think it's time to just shut up and get started. So let's get to planting. So my next step is I'm going to add this cardboard. Now adding this cardboard under these rocks is only going to be done where there's a bunch of grass. There's 1,000 videos on how to do this, but basically I make sure there's no staples and I make sure there's no film. So if you were to buy a TV, a trampoline, something like that, normally there's a coating of the image or whatever, and it's real waxy. That may not break down as well or as fast, plus you're adding stuff to the garden you don't want to add. So just a basic piece of cardboard, no staples. I've already put one in under here. That's to suppress the grass that's under there, because I don't want to dig. If I was to dig under here, get the grass out, there's a good chance these rocks will settle and I don't want to come back and do the job twice. So I'm gonna just leave it, suppress the grass with this, and we'll start backfilling. So like that, all's done. So another thing I've done is I don't want my pavers to line up in a straight row. If you remember all my bridges back here, they're offset, wonky, and it doesn't necessarily have to be left, right, left, right. You know, it's left, right, right, left, 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 right, right. You know, and you just kind of step back. So I'm doing this. I'll step back. I'll look at it. I've got a few that I can tell I want to move over. But yeah, all in all, I think it adds a little mystery, a little whimsy. It looks like it's been there for a while. Those of you who are designers that are watching this, you could definitely explain it a lot better than I can. But this, all in all, I think this just adds one more element to the garden. So I'll go through here and I'll line them up the way it feels good, and then I'll just start backfilling, and that project will be done. This has taken me 15 minutes probably total, so we're just gonna move right along. I did forget to mention, I do have a Japanese maple I want to move. I have some ajuga that I'm gonna plant in another section. You know, I get in the garden and I want to go, and I want to share it with you folks as well, and I didn't slow it down enough. I probably should have wrote it out, jotted it down, and been like a reminder to maybe walk you guys through everything that we're gonna do. But this will be the first thing, and we'll just continue throughout the day. So yeah, I'll get these lined up and then backfill. I think it's absolutely charming. It's not only is it left, right, but it's also kind of rock back and forth. There's a little tilt to it. You can see at the very, very front one, I may actually have to dig that one down. That looks more like a trip hazard for somebody who's brand new to the garden. So I will probably dig that down several inches, but or change it out with a different stone. I might change it out with a different stone, make it easier on myself. But I think it's really charming. You can envision me coming back with some ground cover, some low ground cover, and they'll really pull in. I could probably flank it with some more heucheras, but like I said, this is a sun shade issue that I'm trying to figure out. The trees are growing much larger, and so this area is getting shaded, plus I continue to add. So yeah, project number one, maybe 30 minutes total, and we are complete with that. Let's move on to the next. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just roughing up the ground. I'm gonna bring in some soil and put on the top to plant these Coleus. But I use this here. I got this at a box store, specifically Walmart. It's the Expert Gardener. It's their brand, but basically this just eats into the ground a little bit, roughs it up. I really don't want to dig too much in these areas because I do have that red bud there, and I don't want to disturb the roots too much. I will have to go down a little bit. Plus I'm gonna add several layers, several inches of that soil to put in here. But I think it's best to rough this up so that the soil that I put on top, they can blend together and allow the water to soak through thoroughly, as opposed to just setting the soil on top and then never actually amending the two together. So hopefully this little marriage works out perfect, and last year's Coleus looks sharp in here, same process that I did. So that being said, let's get some in the ground. So how gorgeous are these? Got these at Walmart. They are Main Street Coleus, and they grow, let's see, 10 to 16 inches tall. I'm supposed to plant them 9 to 12 apart. I plant them a little bit closer. That's how I do all the stuff in my garden. But I think that is so cool, and I think there's a good chance that this is going to be very, very beautiful. I love how it just kind of plays with the purple there and the different shades. So that being said, we're going to pop this in a few weeks as the temperatures continue to rise. Last year this was just really, really sharp. Obviously I wasn't coming to you guys last year, but I really want to show you how it turned out. I've got Coleus that I'll mimic throughout the garden as well, to give it some type of continuous flow. But this is one of my favorites. So that being said, we'll get them in the ground and get some water on them. Okay, I think that's gonna line up just right. What I do try to do is not planting rows. So I'll step on all angles and I'll kind of look around and see as I go, just to make sure that nothing kind of like shapes out to be in lines. That's just how it works at this garden. Sometimes it can get too organized and I don't want it to be like that. So we'll tinker with it a little bit, but I think it's gonna work out perfect. I'm keeping the edge here on the sides. I think I'm gonna plant some begonias or maybe some sun impatiens. So we'll see, but I think as this comes together, I'll be able to toy with it a little bit, and then at the end of the project, I'll be able to look back and see what will fit this area just as well as the Coleus, and they can, you know, share the space together this summer. So, yeah. Okay, that turned out really well. That took about 25 minutes to lay down the soil, drill the holes in, and put that in there and water. One of the drill bits that I'm using today is a wood drill bit. Everybody have that child in your family that maybe borrows some things and don't maybe put it back? So that's where we're at. We're using a wood drill bit. It worked all right, no big deal. It just scuffed up the ground a little bit. Apologize for the plane flying over. But yeah, I just rough up the ground, let the two blend in together, and that was what I was talking about when I said marriage earlier. I don't know if I emphasized on that, the soil, the ground soil, and the soil that I just took out of the bags. Those two will blend in together. That'll work out happy. I think along the lines I'm going to add some begonias. Last year I had potato vine and it did really well. I had to continue, it thrived right here actually, and I had to continually bring it back because it was getting clear out here and then it grew. So I may not do that again. It was a little much. It might be everybody's flying their plane today. It's the first day without wind, and all these little private airplanes are going overhead, so I apologize. Moving right along, some begonias, maybe, I don't know, some sun patience, and maybe we'll just mix and match and try to keep all the colors working together. Anyways, let's head to project 3. So right here at the moon gate, what I'm wanting to do is the lemon coral sedum. I'm going to fill in on the sides of the bridge. However, I'm going to take that cardboard in the background, kind of suppress the grass there. I've got a couple dandelions. 'Tis the season. And then following that, I will backfill with some soil so that the soil blends in with those rocks and the black mondo grass, same way with the lilies that are on this side, and soften that edge. And it should be a match made in heaven, because I think that lemon coral sedum is going to look really sharp against the brown deck pathway, and then right up against the moon gate. I think those two will make a great visual. So that being said, let's just get right after it. Well, I think it turned out great. It really looks good with the black mondo, and when we recap at the end of the day, we'll go back over it, but I think the black mondo grass, that sedum, is gonna look wonderful. We're talking maybe 8 minutes. I've been kind of timing myself. That's like 8 minutes right there, that project. So, and most of that's spent going up front to the garage to get the soil out of my truck. Anyway, a lot of fun. Next project. Okay, so this space right here I'm gonna drop some more Coleus. If you're wondering about the water hose, I use that as my drip line. I have all these extra water hoses that I pulled out of the shed in the garage. I just ran them through the garden, drill holes right where I need them, and call that good. Especially underneath this birch tree right here. This birch tree drinks a lot of that water, so that really helps. What I've done in the last summer, what it really came down to is it was really hot. I just put in a new garden bed and it was just dry for months on end. And so I got tired of hand watering, so I went through, got the water hose, did that, seen it on the internet or somewhere. I don't know who to give credit to, but yeah, definitely somebody came up with a brilliant idea. I seen it and that's how it ended up. But we're gonna park these Coleus in that spot. I've got 2, 4, 5. Five. I've got 5 of them. I'm gonna park in that spot, but I mean, they're just as showy as the other ones, and these are really nice. These are actually called, this one don't have a tag. This one are called Main Street Coleus. Let's see, it says 18 to 24 inches in height. I'm supposed to plant them 12 inches apart. I'll plant them closer than that. Full sun, about 6 hours. This is not getting 6 hours, I promise you. We'll see at the end of the season how that turns out, or in the middle of the season if they just peter out. So not gonna get 6 hours, but right now it's gonna be part of the garden, and I can't wait to get it in there and share it with you folks. So another project, here we go. Okay, this turned out really nice as well. I think it's gonna really play well with the hostas right there. We got some lilies in the background. You probably can't see it. Let's see if I can pan you around. There's an Annabelle hydrangea right there. Got some daffodils in the back. There's several other hostas. Can't think of the name right off of hand with these. That's a Patriot right back there. This barrel, I will end up I'm probably going to put a little hosta, or no, pardon me, a little hydrangea in there. We'll see. I really like those little ones, and I think that could look really nice and as we continue. But that being said, I think this right here turned out well. I think it turned out really well, and yeah, we'll just keep marching along. So project number 4, I believe. This one took about 8 to 10 minutes. Let's keep on keeping on. Well, are you guys tired of planting Coleus? Yeah, me neither. And here we go with another kind. This is the 3rd one. This one is going to be popped in here. It'll play well with that bird bath. The Blackbeard's penstemon in the background. Got some lilies flanking both sides. I've got a few hostas in here. And this is quickly moving from a sun garden to a shade garden pretty rapidly. I've got 5 or 6 trees that surround this area, and so I've got a lot of midday sun or midday shade and a little bit of sun towards the end of the day. That's where these guys are going to pick up most of their energy, and it'll help shade some of the hostas that are in here. Also, the penstemon that's back there, it's got a darker foliage to it, so these will play well with it. Yeah, let's get them in the ground and see where it takes us. So here in this space I have 3 coneflowers I'm gonna dig up and move out. At one point those looked really good, was really showy, but again, we're working with a lot of shade now. So this is going to turn into some hostas. We're gonna bring in some Brunnera. We're gonna bring in maybe some lungswort. We're gonna play with it a little bit and we'll see how it works out. Might even pop in some ajuga to soften the edges. But yeah, that's the plan. So here we go. Okay, right away I think this is going to work out really good. I put the ajuga, you can see it right there. It's in a full flat. I'll spread that all out, but I'm just kind of trying to give a general idea and paint a picture for myself. But I really think we might have a winner. It looks full right now, and that's typically, in my mind, I'm thinking it's just because these were in the nursery. The rest of the garden's still waking up, so I have to be cautious there because it looks really good. It looks full, and then you look to the left and the right and it's maybe not quite as full, but eventually that's how the whole garden, you know, I want it to feel like an Amazon, if that's the right term, but or the right visual I want you folks to have, but eventually it'll get there. So right now I think this is good. I'm going to look at some heights and double check on everything. I've got those ferns. Those ferns are kind of wonky because the folks who made that come from a box store. It says 1 to 7 feet in height, which that don't feel right, and 1 to 8 feet in width. So I can't quite figure it out. So I contacted some folks, and they're thinking it's the 1 and 1.5 foot range. So I'll give you names and descriptions and all that. So we'll just pop them in the ground. We might have to move something out, but right now I think we've got a winner. So let's just dig in it and let's see how it unfolds. So right here we have Shadowland Wee, and it says we get to 11 to 18 inches tall in height and 28 inches in spacing. So not bad. I think it's going to be a great addition. Rough up the roots a little bit. So this one here is a sterling silver Heartland Brunnera. This says it gets 10 to 14 inches height and 20 to 24 inches in space. Yeah, that's what it's gonna get too. So pop it in. One here is a Hosta white feather. So it doesn't look so much like the image, but it hasn't, I think my dog might have knocked it over. I'm not sure, but she's looking at me, so probably. Let's see, we get size 8 inches. So that's fine. And width is 20 inches. So I'm gonna put it right in front of the bird houses that my wife's uncle made, and it won't cover it up. So good choice. So I've told you many a time, I'm a hip shooter. I shoot from the hip, and that's what we're gonna do right here. I like that Brunnera in there, but the more I looked at it, I was like, I need some different color. So I've got areas in the garden that I have some heuchera that haven't really been able to pop in the position and the place that I've put them in, because there's one obstacle or another around it, and it really doesn't get the recognition it deserves in those spaces. So I'm going to go pull them from the other parts of the garden and introduce them to this side of the garden, and really hope that all this foliage just kind of jumps off the screen once I add it in. So let me go get that. So have a go at this. Isn't that beautiful? It's really remarkable. I'm gonna pop this in here. The spot that it was at, one of them had a little bit more sunlight than the other, and you'll be able to notice in the two sizes, but I will have to put the name of this up top because I don't have the card in there and I don't remember it. So you'll be seeing it once I get these put in the ground. So I know there's a lot going on in the screen here, but it's starting to come together, and now I'm going to throw another audible in there. These are the Coleus that we just popped in a while ago. You can start to see, but I've got some more heuchera in the yard that I'm going to put around that rock right there, and I'm going to just continue to add. This is what I do. I just keep going, and I can steal from one part of the garden to add to this, and I've got, you know, back by the gazebo, some of that stuff is coming out there since I took that gazebo out. I've got some heuchera in spots that get too warm, so you know, about June, July, when it starts to get real hot, they start to kind of get crispy. Even though I keep the roots wet and moist, I think this might be a better alternative for them. So let me grab those, we'll pop them in. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this rock out, give me some more space, and I always use this rock. Actually, I'll just use this rock right here. I think I'm gonna move that Brunnera back as well. And I believe these are called carnival heuchera. I'll find out, but I believe they are called carnival. So this coupled with the Coleus, I just think it's gonna happen. So now I'm going to go back in and backfill with some ajuga through here. It won't take very much because it spreads wildly, but it's easy to maintain. You don't want it in a spot, you just, you know, stick your shovel right in that spot. I am going to do a couple more of these. Remember, I'm going to get you the name, but I'm going to go through here and add a couple more. I think it'll look really good. So okay, we're on the side of the house, and these are the heuchera that I was telling you about earlier with the dark colored rock that I got from my buddies, my good friends over in Colorado. But I think I'm gonna highlight these in here. I've got a heuchera right here as well, and then I'm going to put in these curly fry hostas here on the side. Here in the background, I don't know if hopefully you can catch that. But here I've got, from last year I planted some ostrich ferns. They are going to get, it says average height is 36 inches by 24. We'll see. It's kind of a dead space right now, so I might pop in a couple other ferns. Maybe some of you folks who have these type of ferns, you know, I don't know how fast they grow or colonize an area, so we'll see. I'm probably, just for right now, to add some color to this, I will probably pop in some of those ferns that I have on the side of the house and just kind of give it some color for right now. And then if these ostrich ferns really take off, then we will come back and pop the other ones out. So that's the fun part about gardening. It's like moving furniture. You just have to get a shovel and pop them out and slide it over. So that being said, let's see how it works out. By the way, this is a pink and blue, pink and blue Pulmonaria, or we call them lungswort. They get minimum height 16 to 18 inches. They are hardy through zones 3 through 9, and minimum space 24 inches. We will do a little bit of what we want to do in this garden and figure out the rest, but I'm gonna pop them in, get them kind of close together, and see how that works out. Okay, so reading up on transplanting a Japanese maple, they say to do it when it's dormant, just before it breaks dormancy. I let it get away a little bit, but we're supposed to be in the 40s and 50s this week, low 50s, so I think we're gonna be all right. I'll just kind of get this watered up, get it packed in, and then we'll go on to the next project. But looking good so far. Got some ajuga I want to line up, pin you over there, right around there. I've got 4 boxwoods right here. I'm wanting to put around Grandma's bench that's right there. Got to dig up a few things from there, but I did forget to mention, I did have some grass here from last year. I need to dig that up. I do have a pipe running under here, just so if I want to run any kind of wires and stitcher cords, anything like that, that will be running to some electrical or another water feature that I might have. Also, I have to run a sprinkler head over that way from the front, so instead of tearing up this all over again, and I wasn't quite ready to lay the water works under there, so there is a pipe under there that'll allow me to do that. But first things first, I've got to get rid of that clump of grass. You can see that's where I transplanted the other day on the last video. What else? You can see here, I'm gonna plant that ajuga through here. It's looking really sharp back here right now. I think it's very, very, very underrated in the garden, but it's one of the first things to kind of pop up here in 6A. So anyways, with all these things that we've got going on in the garden, there's plenty of projects. So we'll just jump after it. Like I said, I've got to pop this up. We'll plant those 4 boxwoods around here to kind of enclose that, and also soften it up. If you can see the pond rocks there, the deck, the sidewalk, so a lot of hardscape through here. I'm just going to kind of soften it up, and eventually I'll probably hedge the boxwoods. Well, I will hedge the boxwoods. I don't know about doing it right away. There's that happy window that I've got to find here so I don't fry it or cook it. So anyways, just thought I'd continue. Okay, it's coming together a bit. We'll get it all cleaned off here in a little bit. The drill is because I never did put the board in below there, so the board's in there. I've got some debris that I dug out I've got to get still, but right now I'm going to start adding some of that ajuga right here. I do have, if I pan you around here, I do have a bunch of ferns and hostas, whatnot to put in here. I really want to put them in here, and I really want to put some hostas or some ferns here and put some ajuga in there. I just worry about the road traffic right here, people stepping off. So, but I really think I can pull off a few hosta in there and see what we got. So decisions, but they're good decisions. So let me think on it a minute, and then we'll see what we put in. Okay, real quick, I'm looking at it. I popped some ferns, they're still in the pots. I said foot traffic, but I really meant paw traffic. So I don't know if they, I've been kind of paying attention to them today to see. I don't know if they take this step right here and go off this way, or if they take a shortcut. So I think what I'll do is I'll just put those ferns in there because I really like them. And then I can do the juga down there, because I have a juga over here, and then I have the lyrope monkey grass back there. So kind of wondering, decisions, right? So let's just pop them in and see how it turns out. If they get to where they start getting into them and I have to remove them, it's nothing to pop them back up, since I'll just be planting them. I honestly think once they pop in, that'll be really nice. So okay, let's just do it. Alright guys, I had to wait till the next day because we had a cold front come in with 45-mile-an-hour gust. It was terrible, but we got a lot accomplished in the little bit of time that I did have. So let's just recap what we got done, and let's see how much fun this is actually going to be. This is going to add so much more to the garden. What a wonderful little whimsical path right through there. That was a lot of fun. I think once I get the ground cover in there, it's going to be super sharp. Can't wait. Then we've got the Coleus that we worked on, and with the ajuga along the edges. Once that all matures and we continue to go throughout the year, it's going to look so nice. A wonderful addition to the garden, I believe, nonetheless. All these Coleus are going to look really sharp through here. I can't wait to add mulch, come back here, and this was a great addition as well. Like I said, the more this stuff matures, we start popping in annuals. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, really excited about where we're headed here at the garden. Temperatures are still climbing. Today feels like another windy day though. Anybody tired of the wind? There we go, right through here. All this ajuga. It's going to look really sharp as we continue throughout the day or the season. So much fun. We've got the Coleus sprinkled in through here. Once we add in some more of the annuals through there, it's going to look super showy. I think the lemon coral sedum looks sharp. I've got an institichord running out because I'm going to start a water feature this morning. I'll be bringing that to you guys soon if it turns out. But this section of Grandma's bench, really sharp. I can't wait for the boxwoods to kind of, they were all in tight at the nursery, and so they just need to be blown around and put in the elements. But you see the attention to detail. We added some rock in there. That's also because I had some left over from here, but just continuing to drag it throughout the garden makes a big splash. Got it under here as well. Then the ajuga that comes and continues around here. You can see the stuff that's already here, the ajuga that's already here, it's maturing. So all in all, a great day. Such a fun project to do. I just getting into the dirt makes me a happy man. So all right, we'll talk to you guys on the next video. I hope this worked out for you folks. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.